I'm Tommy Lynch, the Director of Parks. If everyone could move a little closer and the people who are our speakers today could join us up here. We would normally list all of our special guests by name, but under these circumstances, we may have too many special guests to actually recognize, even though I recognize you, but to list your names might be tough, Carney.
All right, we'll get started. If everyone can move up a little bit, there's some seats up here. Hello, I'm George Anderson, Chair of the Park Board. I want to welcome everyone to this wonderful event honoring our good friend and colleague, Jim Fyke. Jim is such a great friend to so many Nashvillians and others throughout the state. He's given all of us who care for Nashville's quality of life a legacy that will not be forgotten. Before I introduce our first speaker, I want to share with you many of the awards Jim has been honored with in the past. In 2001, Best Friend Award from the Friends of Warner Parks. Again in 2001, Lifetime Achievement Award from the Nashville Sports Council. In 2007, he was named Conservationist of the Year by the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. In 2008, received the 8th Annual Friends of Radnor Lake Environmental Award. In 2011, inducted into the Metropolitan Nashville Public School Hall of Fame for Lifetime Achievement. And in 2013, received the Governor's Lifetime Achievement Award for Environmental and Conservation Stewardship. Quite an impressive list of achievements and awards for Mr. Fyke. And now let me call on Tommy Lynch, our Metro Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, George. Several people who will talk today either hired Jim Fyke or observed him from the perspective of being his supervisor. They saw what he did and how he did it, and they trusted him with city or statewide organizations. My perspective was a little bit different. I observed him from the subordinate perspective. I worked with him on a daily basis for more than 30 years and reported directly to him for a great number of those years. I think I can speak for everybody who actually worked for him, whether they worked in Metro Parks or State Parks or with the Conservation Department. Never did he subject his subordinates to a petty act. He truly treated everyone that I knew and observed him with kindness, dignity, and respect. If that wasn't enough, beside that, he was extremely competent. A rare combination of expertise and customer service. I cannot imagine a more appropriate act for our board to do than to name this complex after him. He served Nashville well, he served Old Hickory well, he served Tennessee well, he served our Parks Department well. I was privileged to call him a friend. And today I'm so glad that I am where I am when I am working with the park board that saw fit to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. And now our current mayor, Carl Dean.
Well, thank you, George. I like the current part. It suggests something. I don't know. Well, it is an honor for me to be here to celebrate one of the best, most dedicated, and most effective public servants I've ever known. And I do want to take a moment and recognize just a couple people. First, I want to recognize Mayor Fulton, who is with us, and it's always great to be with Mayor Fulton. Governor Mayor Phil Bredesen, who's with us. Mayor Bill Purcell. I thank them all for being here. When I started working as an assistant public defender back in 1983, Jim was already a legend around the courthouse and in the corridors of metropolitan government. He was just somebody who got things done, and you didn't have to worry when he was working on a project. I continued to watch Jim's career with admiration as my own career in Metro continued. Then, after I became mayor, I got a chance to bring Jim into our administration. To have Jim working on open space acquisition, finding the right location for a new ballpark was an unexpected gift, and I felt really fortunate to have Jim working on my behalf, and I still do. And probably the best way to sum up how good Jim has been, I was having a conversation just a couple weeks ago with Frank Ward, the owner of the Nashville Sounds, and really spontaneously, Frank said to me, you know, Jim is the nicest person in the world. And it was a very heartfelt expression that I think says what everybody thinks about Jim Fyke. Jim doesn't get everything right. Somewhere along the line, he got confused in life and was a Braves fan instead of a Red Sox fan. But we'll cut him some slack for that. Jim, thank you for everything you've done for this city for the past 50 years. It truly has been a privilege for me to work with you, and your work is seen everywhere around the city, and you can say, and I will say, without any reservation, you have made life better for all Nashvillians. You have had a dramatic effect upon this community. So on behalf of all in Nashville, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Now it's my honor to introduce former Mayor and Governor Phil Bredesen.
Thank you very much. It is an honor for me to be here, Jim, to say a few words about you. I had not realized until this weekend that you, and apparently as part of your retirement, have purchased the Tennessean. But congratulations, and I met Jim Fyke really when I became mayor. He was the director of Metro Parks at the time, and I already knew of his reputation. I think the first things we did together is, when I first became mayor, it was a time when, if you can remember that, when land was very inexpensive in Nashville, and we were looking to add to the park system to take advantage of that time. So I talked to Jim about it, and he led an effort that added about, I guess it was about 2,500 acres when all was said and done to the Nashville park system. He just took it up, and as Carl has just said, was somebody who just got things done. And I think a lot of generations of Nashvillians will be very, very pleased and successful with that. He added all that land, Shelby Bottoms, it was Beaman Park, the Nashville Zoo at Grassmere, and he created at the same time the Greenways Commission, which still remains as a very sort of effective and active organization here in the city. When I became governor, sworn in 2003. The state park system was really help. It was in some disarray, and employee morale was down. We had, I think it was 14 parks were closed at the time, had been closed. And I knew who to turn to in that case, and called Jim and asked him if he would, if he had come on board and help as the commissioner. In quick order, he reopened those parks by redistributing the sort of the money inside the Parks Department to make it happen. It was a remarkable 4 years that he turned it around. We went from having a number of state parks closed to, in 2007, got the National Gold Medal Award from the National Parks and Recreation Association as the best state park system in the country. And at the time, we were the fourth state in the United States who have ever received that award. And Jim, it is due to your management skills and your effectiveness that happened, and people all across Tennessee, and certainly I thank you for it. In closing, I'm sure other people have talked about it, but Jim has got extraordinary people skills and an uncanny ability to bring people together. I really think that the way in which people are regarded by the people who have to work for them and work with them says an awful lot. I've never known anyone that has had the kind of loyalty and the kind of love out of the people who work for him in these departments that Jim has had. He may be a genuinely very nice guy, as was remarked, but he also is a very effective leader and somebody that people really want to follow. Jim has worked a long time to make the state a better place to live and to work and play, and naming this complex for him, I think, is absolutely and completely appropriate. So, Jim, it's been an honor for me to, over my career in politics, which you have spanned, to have had a chance to work with you in many different roles, but certainly as your parks director and then as the commissioner of the department at the state. It's nice to be here and be part of this naming of the building today. It's been an honor for me, and thank you for all that you have done for the people of Nashville and the people of the state of Tennessee. And I got through that entire speech without mentioning golf once. Isn't that?
Thank you, Governor Bredesen. And now the man of the hour, our honoree today, Jim Fyke.
I got some serious things to say, but I'll have to admit those complimentary remarks from the mayor and governor are a little over the top, even though I appreciate the complimentary remarks. I don't think they remembered the bad days some of us had, so. But that's good. We all need to remember the good days. But I do appreciate them being here, and I better get that or I won't ever forget. You don't want me rambling around, I'll tell you that. I know anybody that worked for me knows that. But I appreciate Mayor Purcell also being here. If you can't tell, I am very nervous. I appreciate and thank the governor and the mayor and the governor-mayor, whatever his title he wants to claim, with this honor, and it's overwhelming, as you can notice. I started here in 1964 as the first sports supervisor, so to say we've come from there to today and what's happening today is just overwhelming. I don't know what any other word to use. I will tell you, you young people, time sure does fly. 51 years went by in a hurry. So prepare yourself. I also want to first express my appreciation to the current park board for approving this recognition, and especially Director Tommy Lynch, who mentioned he and I worked together for about 30 years. But for Tommy to make that recommendation to the board, after us working with us so long, it meant a lot to me personally, and I want to thank him publicly for his recommendation. He didn't have to do that, but certainly it does mean a lot to me personally. Before I go too much further, and the governor will probably remember I was being sworn in up at the Capitol, and everybody was there, and I did all this talking, and all of a sudden I leaned over to him, and I said, I forgot to introduce my family. So I've got a note here to make sure I do it right this time. And he said, well, you better get back up there. So I did. First of all, my wife, Becky, is over here to the right. Our family's grown quite a bit over the past few years. She and I together have 3 grown children, and we have 8 grandchildren. Prepare yourself, from all the way from ages 2 to 17. So most of them are less than 10. Her daughter Rebecca is here with 2 of her 4 children over to my right. Rebecca Bryant is here. My daughter, Claire Purcell, is here, and Richard Purcell, her husband. Becky's son, Ryan Malloy, and his daughter, Jessie, are here. So they are a big part of what I get to do now, and that's babysit. And but I really appreciate them coming, and obviously they've been great to me, and I look forward to spending more and more time with them. Also, real quickly, I want to thank Tommy's staff of Janet, Shane, Sally, and Jackie for coordinating today's event. They worked hard, and I appreciate everything they've done to make this event happen. I'll try not to be too long. I know Rich Reedman's got a watch on me, but I'll try not to be too long, so bear with me just a little bit, though. It's recently dawned on me that I am one of a small group of employees who have worked in some capacity for all 6 Metro Nashville mayors. During my tenure as Director of Parks from 1978 to 2003, I had the distinct privilege of working for 4 mayors. Richard Fulton, who's here today with his wife Sandra, he signed off to the Park Board in 1978 on my behalf. Bill Boner was the second mayor I worked for. Obviously, Governor, Mayor Phil Bredesen, and Bill Purcell. I worked for all 4 of those as director. Each of those mayors has supported and contributed significantly to this award-winning department. Metro Parks has long been recognized as one of the most outstanding local agencies in the entire country. So a lot of that credit, and most of the credit that you heard given to me, goes to those 4 mayors during that period of time. We couldn't have done it without their leadership and support. And not to be outdone, Mayor Dean's administration has acquired, hold on, Governor, 4,000 acres for development of future parks. Every record is made to be broken, so don't worry about that. I don't believe this 4,000 is going to be broken anytime soon. I'm not that sure there's that much land still available to be sold in Davidson County. I think he's pretty much covered that. But he did acquire over 4,000 acres for development of future parks and greenways, and also added new parks and development of some of the several high-quality facilities the park system has seen. So for the past 8 years, he's second to none of what's taken place for the Parks Department. I'll have to admit, there are more than I expected to be here, but I'm thrilled and honored to see so many familiar faces here today. Close personal friends, many former co-workers, not only at Metro, but also at the state. Several people from the state governor that I hadn't seen in a while slipped out and came down and were nice enough to come to see you. Also, here are some former council members and I see one sitting here on the front row. Tommy's already given him his due. Also, former chief of police is here for many, many years, chief of police, and former park board members are here that worked with me back through so many of those years. I want to thank each of you for encouraging, advising, and supporting me throughout those years. Even though you probably don't realize it, each of you in your own way has contributed so much, not only to my career, but to me personally, and for that I will forever be grateful. In fact, the key to all successes I might have had along the way, besides the good leadership, are directly related to developing personal relationships which created networking opportunities each time for a common purpose, hopefully without worrying about who got the credit. So everything I've done couldn't have been done without all the employees working with me, the general public cooperating. I give credit to those. I happened to be at the right time and created hopefully some good teams to work with and together. Finally, in closing, one of my proudest accomplishments as director was the 1987 Metro HCA land exchange that brought us the complex where we are today, and $12 million to construct the Centennial Sportsplex, which those of you who've been around for a while replaced the old tennis center and the city's first ever ice rink, Ice Centennial. Oh, by the way, also on that date, now, and no telling what it's worth now, over $100 million of private investment went on the land that HCA got from Metro, went on that property and put on the tax rolls of Nashville. So, in my opinion, and this is very self-serving, in my opinion, that was the best deal Metro ever made, to put that much on the tax rolls and also get the benefit of the facilities here and the citizens enjoying the sportsplex. So, to have that my name, and I don't, whether some of you probably didn't notice the sign coming in. It was a little small. You probably didn't, you might not have paid any attention to it. My wife said she didn't see the sign, so that's normal. Then she said, well, I turned before that, and I'm not sure how she got in here and that happened. But anyway, to have my name permanently placed on this complex is the ultimate honor for my 50-year public service career. As I said, or someone said earlier, I grew up in Old Hickory. My family made a lot of sacrifices for me, and I know somewhere they're looking down, proud of me and what has accomplished here with your name in this complex. So forevermore, I'm indebted, and thank all of you for being here. It's been great to see all of you. Those I've not had a chance to speak to, hang around. I can be here as long as I want to, Carl Dean. I'm off the payroll today.